If you like this video, make sure to visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
So guys, we'll go ahead with the session now because we have already waited for 10 minutes.
Yeah, please.
And so both of you were in the class yesterday, so I think we can go ahead with the R thing that we are going to learn. So I'll straightforward. Do you have any questions meanwhile from yesterday's session if you want to ask anything? Shishir or Hishan, any questions?
No questions from my side, Austin.
Okay. Okay, all right. So what we are going to do today is we are going to start our session from R tool, right? We are going to learn R. So if you have R already installed on your machine, that's fine. Otherwise, you can simply download this CRAN R. You just write Google CRAN R download and it will take you to this page. If you could do this, then we can possibly do it hands-on itself during the session. It will give you it will be much more comforting for you.
I have already installed R on my laptop.
Okay. So how about Hisan? Can you hear me?
I hear you, yeah.
You have R installed on your system?
No.
Can you just install it? It will take like 2-3 minutes hardly. You just put CRAN R download on Google.
Okay. I'll do it right now.
And depending upon whether you are using Windows system or iOS, you can simply go there. So basically, this is the CRAN is official repository of R. So from there you can download it.
It's R 4.0.1.
Yeah, you can download that. That's fine. So either of the version, whatever you are using, either it is Mac OS or Windows system, you can download it accordingly.
It's a Windows system. Okay.
Okay.
So Austin, I have a 3.6.3 version installed on my laptop. So that should be good enough.
Fine, Cesar. That is fine. If you have been working on that, that is also okay. But this is they keep on updating it, and the updates are quite frequent. So that is the latest one. What Hisan is saying is 4.0.1.
Okay. Good.
So, but whatever we are going to learn will work perfectly one after anything beyond 3.5. Okay, so Isan, you can download and install it on your system. We are just going to go ahead with the session. Okay, so what we are going to do is just I'll show you some of the simple data points that we are going to possibly use, and just for the sake of our session, we'll use some of them. So So this is a simple CSV file, okay? What we are going to start with this, because what happens in the data science, we are always going to deal with data. So this is just a small set of data. If you look at it, it's something around 800 rows, 808 rows, and some columns are there in this. So one thing, if you just look at the data, so there are some variables, like all these variables are there, and then some of the columns have some information in here, like this looks like name, this looks like gender, and some other parameters are available here. What we are going to do now is we are going to import one of these data points and see, and we'll just learn some of the very basic functions of R. We'll directly get into the working mode. And wherever the theory part will be required, we'll touch upon that as well. Okay. So once you have downloaded R, then you can simply go and Right now we are just going to go ahead with the R console. Sisir, are you using R console or do you have R studio or something?
So I'm also getting the same view, R console only, but I
Okay.
have the studio as well.
Okay, so we'll just start with our console. From the next, just because we are learning some functions here, small functions, and from the next session onwards, we'll go get into this IDE, which is our studio, and we'll work on that. Okay. Hishan, are you able to get this screen, our console, if you have downloaded and installed it on your system?
Already I've installed it on the system. Where can I see the, yes, sir. Hang on a second.
Have you installed it on your system?
Yes.
Okay, so you go into the search and you just find a R. If you write R there, it will show whatever things you have from there. It could be R, or let's say R console.
Okay.
In the search option, you'll find it. Or if you are using this system, then
It's one word, R console, or two words?
it's just R cross 64. If you see it like this, can you see it on my screen? R64.
Okay.
Are you able to find it, Sean?
So, Austin, the data that you were showing is available in the portal. Can we download it?
You have access to LMS?
LMS.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll just upload it there. 1 second.
Okay. In fact, I have a question on these materials also, which has been shared. So if you can give a quick update, what are these module 1, module 2, and what are these assignments? So it will be good to
Yeah,
be on
so
track.
this is the model. So basically, the way we are going to conduct the sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by that, like yesterday, we had simply introduction to data science. So that PPT that we had is available here, and
Okay.
some simple things related to that, whatever we had discussed. Similarly, introduction to R that we are doing today. Based on that, you have the information. So every week, you will have these kind of slides available, and if there are some assignment or assessment thing that is available, it will be available on the LMS.
So how do I distinguish that there is some assignment is there? So if I read the module 1 assignment introduction to, is there some assignment there?
Yeah, so this is assignment, right? Module 1 assignment. So right now it is just in the very naive phase, okay? Because we have just started out the session. So it's just more from the, just showing purpose. It doesn't contain any much information right now. But this is how you are going to get it. Like if you see view here,
Okay.
then you will have the information. What is there in the introduction to data science, the same PDF that we're discussing or something on that lines, right? More information on the same lines.
No, so my worry is, do we have any action items from our side as a participant? Do we have to fulfill some
Yeah,
assignment?
so what you have to do in your case is, once we have taken the session, right, and if you want to get more information around that, so we'll put it out all the information that you will probably go through and get more clarity on the subject.
Okay. Thanks.
So this is what we are going to do with all the sessions. Like some of the part will be available before the session itself, and some of the part will be available after. Like we are finishing the session today, so sometime during this week, like either on Monday or Tuesday, we'll put out any other information that is there. We'll put it out on the platform, and you can download it and learn from there. If you need more subject matter, and if you have any questions, you can later ask us also in the third session.
Perfect. Thanks.
So this is how we're going to follow. So this is like a comprehensive structure that generally we follow. If there are some case studies that if I want to provide you, I can give you on that and like that.
Got it. Thanks.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I have found R space I386 4.0.1 and R.
Yeah. So now if you click on that, you will find our console.
And there's another R, which RX64 4.0.1. Which one of them should I use?
If you have R6X64, you can open that because that
Okay.
has backtracking also, so you can open that.
I opened it already right now.
Okay, and now you'll find something like this,
Yes.
right? Okay, and now what I'll do is, if you have access to LMS,
I have access to what?
LMS, do you have access to learning management system? You would have got a mail.
Okay, hang on a second.
You have already registered, Hisan, right?
I've already installed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have registered, then you should have received a link like this. Data science. What I am showing you here.
Sorry to interrupt, Austin. No, he has not yet registered.
Oh, you have not yet registered, Hisan.
He has not yet
Okay.
paid for this. Yeah, he wants
Oh,
to.
okay.
He wants to check this session also. Yeah.
All right. So Hisan, this is available to you only if you have registered for the program.
Okay.
All right. So we are
Okay.
just going ahead with the session. Then probably you'll not be able to do a lot right now because you'll require to download these data files which we have uploaded here. But then because you don't have the access, so you'll not be able to download all these things. But you can just go through the session, and later on you can always find it if once you register for the program.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we'll go ahead with the session then. Shishir, I have just given some of the files here. Okay, and we are going to primarily use these files for today's session.
Sure.
So I simply come to our console and I just put a function, simple small function, which is called getWD. Okay, what getWD means is it takes you to the working directory of the session. Right. Right now we are doing our programming in this particular session for R. Now whatever we do will be basically stored in this, and we can directly access this location. So for me, this is C users Abhishek documents, right? If you put getWD, Shishir, you'll also find something like this, where by default, your R is basically, our system is working in the current session. Okay. So working directory is basically the folder where, we are working. And if we have any files or if we want to save some files, it will by default go there. Cecil, you can just check it once, and Hishan, you can also check this. This function will work properly.
Yeah, it's working fine.
Yeah. Okay. So now what we want to do is, this is a default location, but what I essentially want to do it, because this is session 2, and I have all the files in this particular location where DSM program 13 June batch, and I want this location to be session 2, right? I want this file to become the working directory. So what I'll do is I'll create I'll change the default location. Now what I'll do is, for changing the directory, we are going to put something called set working directory. So set working directory is the location of my current session, where it could be anything, whatever folder you want to make. I am just making it this for our purpose, so that the files and everything could be saved in this location. Okay, very simple. Now I have set this as my working directory. So now if I look at the current working directory, this is this particular location where I have all my files saved for this session, right? This is a file, and this is the location it is. Then it will become easier for you also to keep track of whatever you are doing in the session. All right. Isan, you can also try these things. You can just create one folder location on your desktop or some drive, and you can create this. Okay. Now I'll take you through something. If I put a function called search, I just want a little bit of information. I'm going little differently. I'm not going in very theoretically. Okay. So function, you understand, right? Some of most Sishan and Sisir, you would have used function in some way, either in Excel file or in any of the programming language, wherever, right? So you
Yes.
understand what is a function.
Yes.
Okay. If you don't understand something, you just let me know, because I would assume a few things and accordingly I'll just proceed with the sessions. So if I just put something called search, right? So you see some of these components are coming here. One thing is package, like package stats, package graphics, package GR devices, package utils, data sets, methods, whatever. Base. So in R, what happens that we have functions, many functions are there which are part of some of the packages. So when you install R, right, when you first install R, some of the default packages are already installed with this. So whatever is here in this is basically default packages which come with the CRAN system itself. When you download R from there, install it, all these packages will come. Now if you want to understand what is there in this package, like for an example, this stats package. So what is contained in this stats package? To understand this, we just have to type one simple command which is called stats. Now what happens, if you just put this stats command here, it will take you to the browser, okay, and it will give you whatever information you want for this package. So it contains a lot of things, right? Now this is giving you a lot of things, like let's say a summary package. Summary is a function, right? So all these functions, whatever, if you're looking at plot functions, lines functions, legend, summary, ANOVA, so all these, there are many functions like this. These are statistical functions mostly. So that is why this name is stats. This stats basically is for statistical package. So whatever functions are there in this stats package, you will get the information about them. If you simply put double question mark and write the function, write the package name here. Very simple. So you can know about all the packages. Like let's say that if you want to know something about graphics package, so you just put double question mark and you will get here that whatever is available in this, you'll come to know about all the packages. Like graphics packages will contain something about graphical aspects of it, like plot, dendrogram, or whatever. So points, lines, plot, pie chart, and so on and so forth, like pie chart, bar chart. So all these things are different functions which are there in this package, graphics package. Okay, am I clear to you till now?
Okay.
So functions are available in the packages in R. So if you want to use something some of the functions, right? So you need to have that package loaded in your R tool. Then only you can use a function. So now let's say that if I just want to use a mean function, for an example, mean of, let's say something 2, 3, 4, which is so basically this is the average out number of this thing. Now this mean function is part of stats package, and from there we are getting this. But if the stats package itself is not there, this mean function will not work. But by default, all these things are automatically loaded when you install this R system. Okay, am I clear to you till now? So mean is a function. So there are two things. One thing is a package and one thing is a function. So functions are available in the packages. Am I clear till now?
Yes.
I have a quick question. Mean
Yeah.
is for 2, 3, 4 should be 3, not 2.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it should be. Why? Yeah, this should be 3, but why this is giving of 2, 3, 4 as this? We'll have a look.
No problem. No problem.
It's very simple, but I think that they're considering something or some other.
No problem.
So I'm just trying to give you one example. That
Got
this
it.
package is part of graph, base package, and it is giving you the average of this number. We'll see more of mathematical functions later on. We'll see why this is coming, but definitely this is wrong. I mean, this should be 3.
But it is, or maybe correct. It's divided by 3. 2 plus 3 is 6. 5 plus 4, 9.
5,
9
5,
divided
4,
by 3.
9 divided by 3. It should be 3.
3
It should
only.
not be 2.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically that's right, but I'm just trying to give you. We'll see why this should not happen. I mean, there is something
No
definitely
No
loophole here.
problem. No problem.
So we'll come to it. But what I'm trying to give you for now is that functions are available in the packages, right? And if I just want to know about mean, what I did simply is mean of this only one question mark, and it gives me the it is the arithmetic package, and this is available in the base package, and this is a mean function which is available in the base package, and this gives you basically the information. So if you want to know about anything, like let's say that if I just want to know about ANOVA function, you may have some understanding of this. This is a statistical inferential statistics part. Now if I look at this ANOVA function, so this is a part of stats package. This function is a part of stats package. So we'll come to it later on. I'm just giving you one example of it. So ANOVA is a function for which you just have to give the object that it requires, and it will give you the result of whatever this ANOVA is supposed to do. So this is part of stats package. Just this much I want you to understand for now. Okay. Now what happens that some of the packages are here available, but a lot of packages we need to install for different purposes. Like let's say that if I want to do some text mining, or if I want to do some association rules, or if I want to do some clusters or something, then there are different packages available for that. So if let's say that if I want to install a new package, so what I can simply do is for installing a new package, the simple function is install.packages. Install.packages, for an example, let's say that if I want to install a rules package, which is used for association, like which could be used for in case of recommendation system. So what we write is simple install.packages a rules. Okay. Now I'll simply put it here, and you can it will ask you from which server you want to do. You can simply put cloud here and okay. You can try this a rules package itself. We'll see many other packages later on. Which will be required during the sessions.
So for me, it's just giving a message that error in installing could not find the function install.package.
Okay, so you put install.package. Are you using double quotes?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I did the mistake.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the quotes because install.packages require double quotes within.
Yeah.
Is it happening?
Yeah. Happening. Thanks.
Okay. So something like this, the downloaded binary package, and it will give you some location where it is stored. Is it done?
Yeah.
Ishan, you can also try this. Let me know once it is done, then we'll move forward.
Yeah, from my side, it's done.
Okay. So now, again, what we had done to know the packages, if you look at it, I had used search function, right? Search function I had used. If you again use search function here after installing this, then still you don't have a rules package here, right? You still have the same things. Whatever was there, you still have the same thing. So what happens? This package is installed, but in a new session, right? Right now we are using a new session. So what we have to do is, though this package is installed in our local system, with whatever your current location, basically the local system it is stored, but we have to load this package to be used in current environment. So now let's say that to load this package, we have something called library. So library loaded the function and we put a rules. Okay, so this package is attached in the current session now. You can see this, right? So now this package is attached. So every time, let's say that though you have installed the package on your system or on your machine, you have to use that package, you have to basically load that package or attach that package. And for that, in that particular session, you'll use library. So not every time you have to do it, but whenever you need to use that function, you have to attach this library. So now you put search. You see here, right? A rules package. Now it is basically loaded in the current session. So this is what it means, that library needs to be there. So this is about attaching that package. Am I clear?
Okay.
Ishan, any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay. So you also keep trying. All these things will work if you have installed R already. Okay. So now we have learned a couple of things for now. One thing is setting the right working directory, and we have learned how to install a package and use a package, right? So now what we are going to do now is we are going to learn to use some of the data sets that we already have on our machines. So for an example, our working directory right now is to get the working directory. Our working directory right now is this, right? Now I want to see all the files that is available in this location. So we can just put one function, list.files. So what list.files does is, whatever files you have available in your current location, location, you will have all these things listed here. So we have, if you see in this location, session 2 location, we have all these things here, right? Churned modeling, or only data sets are available right now. So all these data sets are basically being listed here in this particular location. All these files are available. This is what this list.files does. Now what I'll do is I'll import one of the files here, right? So if you look at these files, you can download it. Sisir, you can download it from LMS now. It is available. Like
yeah, I've done it.
Yeah. So and you can put it in your current working location, and you will be able to directly access that. Okay. For an example, let's say I am just taking Titanic dataset. So these are CSV files. If you see here also, it will give you. So this data is XLS file and rest are CSV files here. Okay. So we are going to learn to use CSVs first. Okay, so there are a couple, 2-3 files here if you see. I have not given this credit card or dataset because it's quite big, 147 MB. I'll just later on I'll put it when it's required on the LMS. Okay, I'll just show you one thing why I have put it for this particular class. These datasets are small, right? Churn modeling, Titanic dataset, all these datasets. So what we'll do is, I want this data set in my R session, because if we want to do something on the CSV files or any other location, we want it in our current working session. So for this purpose, we'll create a variable, and this variable is called data frame. Like we have tables, right? In this CSV formats, these are tables. So we'll create one thing called, for an example, if I want to, let's say, if I want this Titanic data set, or let's say that I want mall customers data set in my current R session. So I'll just put something like, I'll create a name, mall customers. And how do I read this from CSV? Read.csv. Okay. And you just write this name here, mallcustomers.csv. Okay. Once you do this, simple, we don't have to do anything. Now, this data set that was there, right? Mall customers CSV. Now it has come in a art session. So mall customers, now I want to look at the mall customers data set. So there are many ways of doing it. One thing is, if I just put view mall customers. Right? If you see here, this data set is now available in our R session, mall customers data set. Am I clear to you? So we are going to learn some functions using this particular data set. So this is one way. We have created one data set here. We had one data set in a local system. We have imported it. So this is called importing. This process is called importing a data set. So we have imported the data set, the CSV data file, and now we're going to learn some of the functions in this particular session. Okay. In R. So very small, simple things. Now let's say, similarly, what we can do is I'll also import Titanic dataset. Okay. Or let's leave it Titanic. We'll import. We had one more file. Churn modeling dataset. Okay. So churn dataset I want also in this session. So read.csv. Churn modeling.csv file. Now we can again view this file. So we have whatever number of variables are there in the data set, everything comes up in this frame, right? Customer ID, name of the person, credit score of that person, gender, geography, tenure, whatever. So all these parameters are available in this data set. Now we're going to do a few things. So see these files. So one of the functions, simple function is called dimension, right? Dimension basically gives you the number of rows and number of columns in particular data frame. So now in this case, what we call this, in that table, it was called mall customers table. In R, we call this data frames. So when we import this is basically this object is called a data frame. So we have mall customers data frame. We have churn data frame now, which contains churn monitoring data. So there is a function called dim function. So what this dim function do is, this will give you the dimension of the data frame. Dimension means number of rows and number of columns in the data frame. So if I just put simply churn, so this will give me the number of rows and number of columns in this data set, right? It has 10,000 rows and 14 columns. So we can also check it from this Excel sheet. Basically this CSV file, churn modeling file, which has if you look at it, how many we have? You see here, like 10,000 rows are there and 12 columns are there. So basically everything got imported, and using simple ndim function, there are 14 columns and whatever number of rows are there. So everything is basically showing here. So churn, this data frame has 10,000 rows and 14 columns. You can also keep trying, just keep saying, so that it is become very hands-on with you, and almost you'll remember all these functions if you keep on doing together. And if you have any questions, you just speak up at that point in time itself. So there is another function, simple and row. Now and row function, what it will do is, let's say if I put simple and row churn, this will give the number of rows in this. Similar as dimension is giving both number of rows and number of columns, this is giving number of rows. Similarly, if I put simple and call, this will give me the number of columns. Like 14 columns in this churn data set. Similarly, we can do it for mall customers. The mall customers data frame which we have created, this data frame, we just want to see the dimensions of this. Now you see this is giving the error object mall customers not found because I have put the wrong spelling here. So I just correct this spelling. CUSTOMERS. Yeah. So it has 200 rows and 5 columns. Similarly, you can use and row. And if you want, I'll give you one quick trick here. That if you are using, let's say that how I am doing this, the last functions which I would, if I put just the arrow, the top arrow in the keyboard, the up arrow, it will give me the last function. If I keep moving up, it will give me the before functions. So churn, whatever the functions which I have used, that is how I am doing this. So this is a small trick here. So now dim is there. Similarly, you can use and call for mall customers just to see. So five columns are there in this. Now what happens is that many a time, right? Many a time the data sets are very, very large. Right now we can simply see it using view function, where everything about mall customers will show up. Right, everything. So all these 200 rows and 5 columns are basically showing up here, right, in this data frame. But many a time, what will happen is, why I wanted to give you this credit score data set here is, credit card data set is basically, see, this is 147 MB file. It cannot even open in Excel. It's a very big file, right? But we can have it in our data frame. We can see in the way we have, imported churn modeling data set, Titanic data set, or mall customers data set. We can also import this credit card data set, which is a very, very big file, which is 147 MB file. We cannot do anything on this data set in Excel or in CSV formats, but we can do a lot of, we can use all the functions, statistical function, all kinds of function on this data set if we import it to the R session. But this will take a lot of time, so I'll not install because it's a little large file. So it can take like 5 to 10 minutes to to be imported in the R session. So I'm just telling you, it will not be possible right now. What we are doing is, because these are small files, so we are able to view the complete data set. Like if I'm just putting mall customers view, I am getting the whole thing. But if I put that 147 MB file, this will not do this. The system will hang. But what we can do is, just to get the understanding of the data, what we can do is we can simply put head. If I put head of churn, so what it gives me basically is the top 6 rows of this churn data frame, right? Similarly, if I get this data set in my R session, this credit card data set, which may be very long. I mean, we cannot completely see this file, but we can definitely see some of the rows. We can simply put head and it will give me the top rows, or we can put tail, which will basically, so there is function called tail function, which gives you the bottom 6 rows of a data frame, right? It gives you the, you see here, if you look at the row numbers also, it is row number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the last row numbers from so basically these are last 6 rows in the data set. So this is what tail function do. You can even have more. By default it gives 6, but then if you want more, like let's say that in head I want 10 instead of 6, by default it is 6, but then if I want 10, so I can simply put 10 here, and this will give me 10 top 10 rows. Am I clear to you till now, Ishan and Cecil? So you can have 2 parameters here. You can just write top rows and number of top rows that you want. Am I clear?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, for tail also you can do this. So this gives you understanding of the data, that what is available in the data set. Because so now this is giving me basically, if I put some simply tail churn 10, the last 10 rows of the data set is coming here by default. Okay. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll see some of how do we basically, so now we have this data set, churn data set that is available in this, which has 10,000 rows and 14 columns, as we have already seen. So now we want to do some of the things here. Some few things I want to do with this data set. So let's just start with, how do I access? Now I want to access only one particular variable, right? I want to access, let's say, only credit score. So to access credit scores, what we have to do is, we have to use something called view, or I'll just use head function, okay? Head, because it will only give me top 6 of this particular, data frame. So head, I want to use only, let's say, credit score, or maybe let's say surname. Fine. So surname, churn dollar surname. Okay. So dollar is how I am able to access one particular variable. So dollar is something that gives me that access. Sorry, head is basically can be used only for this. So this is not a data frame. So what I can do is, I can simply put churn dollar surname.
S, you have to make it capital for surname.
Okay, let me see 1 second. Oh yeah, it's S. So this is case sensitive, yeah. You see it here, right? So this is basically giving me top 6, only top 6. If you want more, you can have more, or if you just want, if you simply write even churn dollar surname, it will give you all 10,000. That's why I just wanted top 6. So this is giving me, so this is how, so basically what I'm trying to suggest is, if you want to access one particular thing, if you want to access one particular variable, you have to use dollar sign, and you have to be careful with the case sensitive thing also. So one thing I'll simply give you, the problem that we have faced is, I am putting S as small, right? So what we can do is, we can simply add call names. Call names is another function which basically gives me the column names of the data set. So churn. Now this is giving me all the column names. Now if I put, so now I can simply copy and paste from here, then this problem will not come. So this becomes easier for me. So what I can do is, like, now let's say that I want something like estimated salary or is active member or whatever. So I can simply go like this and I put it here. So columns give me this, is a function which gives the column names of all the variables. So this is what this is basically giving me. Okay. Now there are a few mathematical functions we'll simply go through. Okay. One thing is, this has 14 variables and 10,000 columns. So generally, if we have a data set, we want some kind of descriptive stats of this. When I say descriptive stats, means something, I mean, like what is the mean of the variable? Like we have a lot of variables like this, right? Is active member, estimated salary is this, tenure is this, what is the, mean of credit score, what is the, standard deviation, and like this. So a few parameters which will give me some sense of the data. So there is a function called summary function, which is a very, frequently used function, summary chart. Okay. So summary chart, basically what it will give me, that if you see here in this data set, right, a lot of variables are also, like this, surname. Surname cannot have any summary for it for now. For summary is basically a mathematical function. But credit score can have a summary. What is the average of this number? What is 25th percentile of, credit score? What is 50th percentile of median of credit scores? And like that. So what summary function does is, summary function will give you the first minimum value, maximum value, first quartile, which is basically 25th percentile, 50 percentile, mean value, and the 75th percentile of all the integer based values or numeric values. Am I clear? Because this is a summary function, which is a mathematical function. So this can only give for mathematical details. This cannot give me the mean of geography. That is not possible. Or mean of gender, for example. It is not possible. But it will give me for whatever, like number of products or, exited or not. So whatever numeric kind of data is there for all of them, it will give me these kind of parameters, which will give me the sense of the number. We'll see when we go into data exploratory part of things, we'll understand that how these things will basically help us shape the understanding of the data, right? For example, credit score. So we see in this data set, minimum credit score is 350, maximum credit score of the person is 850. So all the people in this data set are having credit score between 350 and 850. Average is something around 650 and median is 652. So this is giving us a sense of the data, that what is basically credit score containing. Now, if I want to have some kind of, understanding about if a person has, what kind of credit score can a person have. If we simply take average, then average score of the person who is available in this data set, or who is a customer of the bank, is something around 650. That is what we can say. For example, with this particular variable, or with this particular matrix. We'll come to details about data preparation and understanding of data later on. I'm just trying to give you some of the mathematical functions which are going to use to understand all these things. So that is why this summary function does this. Any questions still here? Hishan, Sisir, any questions till now? We are just trying to understand the functions.
Thank you very much for me.
Okay. So similarly, now we want to understand the structure of the data set itself. The structure chart. See, right now what we have done is we have put a summary of chart. If you want, you can also, once you understand the data, you can also, because see, for the customer ID, it does not make any sense, but it is a numeric value. That's why it is giving us the minimum and maximum value of the customer ID. It does not make any sense. It's just a number. It's just an identification number. So we may not need this, I mean, for our purpose, but let's say that for example, I want only summary of, something called credit score only, maybe. Okay. So summary of churn. So we can use this function. I mean, what we have learned just now, $sign, and we only access credit score, and we want summary of this only. Okay. So now it is only giving me the, so basically this is more readable. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you go by one, it is just more readable. So this is only for the credit score that we have. Otherwise, if you just put churn, then for all the numeric data points, it will give us the summary. Now I want to understand the structure of the data, the general structure of the data. General structure means churn. So, okay. So if you look at the general structure of the data, a structure function, what it gives you, that it has 10,000 observations, basically 10,000 rows and 14 variables. Okay. Now after that, it will give you what kind of data point is basically being contained by all these variables. So all these 14 variables are there. So this contains integer data point, row number is integer. This is also integer. This is character. Character means whatever is, alphabetical. That is what is basically being represented by character function. Otherwise, everything is either numeric or integer. Integer is mostly if it does not contain any in R. This is how it is defined. If it does not contain any decimal points, then it is numeric. Then it is integer. Otherwise, it's numeric. Like something like balance could be a numeric number, which can have some 0 degree. I mean, decimal points and so on.
So, Austin, I have a question there. So, wherever you are seeing character like surname, geography, and gender, in my view, it's showing factor.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. So basically, if it is coming as factor for you, that is also fine. I mean, I'll explain it why it is happening. Okay. So that is why. So and you have told me, right, that you are using this 3.6 version.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is coming because of that. I'll come to that also. It's not a problem.
Okay.
What happens is basically, say, character is anything which is alphabetical. Okay. So, but then in our problems, so factor basically makes it numeric. You're getting my point. So you'll see if it is coming as factor, then it will come as with some numbers,
Yep. Yeah.
right?
Okay. So the point is, it's because of the our different version we are using
Yeah,
it.
it is because of the different version of the R. This is coming right now.
Okay.
In this version, that's why I told you. I mean, sometimes they make with one version or the another. They make some changes.
Got it.
I mean, after this version, probably you can install this newest version 4.0.1 so that we can be on the same page. Otherwise, you may get some confusions here and there. Anyway, I'll explain all of them. But then,
Okay.
just to be on the same page, we can use the same version.
Okay. Got it. We'll do that.
Okay, so now what happens is, with the numeric variables, we'll just know some of the functions of the numeric variables, okay? So for an example, I mean, simple functions like max of whatever, churn dollar, max of churn dollar, let's say age, okay? I'm just trying to see that what is the maximum age. So similar for simple function, like max function can be used with any integer. I mean, the max function can be used anywhere, right? Like let's say I'm just putting 2, 3, 4, 5 or 18 and 3 or minus 3, whatever. So the maximum number here is 18. So max function can be used. So similarly, because all these things are numeric numbers, so max is basically giving you the max of all this number. Similarly, min function, if I put the same thing here, it will give me minus 3, right? This is giving me minus 3. So the same application we are using here, because this becomes a vector. In this case, like this is an integer vector. So one column can be thought to be as integer vector. So all these things constitute a vector, which is basically all these 6 digits. And similarly, if I put min here for this, it will give the minimum age, which is 18. And which makes sense also from the point of view of bank data card, bank data set. Okay, so for now, what we'll do is just some basics of it we have seen what is there. Now we'll come to the slides part of it. We'll just see, because now we have some hands-on experience of how this thing is working. We'll see some of the things from the slide that is available in the LMS.
One quick question,
Yeah.
Austin. So same thing we are going to learn from Python perspective as well in the course.
Yes, yes. Right now, because what, as I told you, right, we're going to do it from the point of, I mean, from the perspective of hands-on thing. So same thing, because this is so basically what we're trying to do right now is we are just trying to learn our tool. Once we learn the R tool, that will be applied to build the machine learning models. If you don't understand how this works, then it will not be possible to do anything with this tool, right?
Got it. Sure. Fine.
So this is what we are doing. And similar thing we'll be doing with the Python also. We'll simply learn. Right now we're just trying to see, like if you are learning Excel, simple functions, how it works. And then we can develop on that and build very larger functions, develop very complicated functions, and which can have multiple functions within it and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this is what we are trying to do with this. Very simply we're going. In couple of days you will see that you know R pretty well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we go to this. Okay, so we have already seen that R is an open source programming, and we have simply downloaded it and started to use it, which is not possible with any paid software programmings like SAS and so on. So these are all theoretical aspects of it when R has started. So all these things you can simply have a look. It does not make much of a sense for me to explain that when it started. It started right from 90s, and then basically development started to happen from 2006 onwards. And after 2010, it became very, very prolific. Still, I think 2018, 19, still people are using it R a lot. So as I told you in the last sessions, almost 20 to 30% to 20 to 40% market is still captured by R, 50 to 60% by Python, and 10% by SAS. That's how it is in the general of terms. And this is again, R is a tool which is cross-platform compatible, which means that in any of the servers, whether you are using Azure server or Amazon Web Server or use Spark systems or Hadoop systems, you can integrate R and start to work on this platform. And there are more than 2,500 libraries in R, and we have seen some of the library, like how we are installing. Library is basically package. So package, how we are installing, we have seen that. And this is a little bit of theoretical aspects of it. You can go through all these things by yourself. I mean, there's no point me going through all this. Wherever it is required, I'll just take you through that.
How do we classify R as like a procedural language or object-oriented language?
This R is an object-oriented language.
So we will have like classes as well in R.
Yeah, we have classes, and like whatever I told you, right? Data frame. So data frame is basically, so data frame becomes a class, and we are creating an object of that class. Like let's say that I created churn. So churn is an object.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I did not get into, that's what I'm telling you. I did not get into more of a taking you through whole structured and oops concept again, because it does not make sense. What we are trying to deal with is just to learn to use R and then use it for the perspective of machine learning, developing machine learning abilities. So wherever whatever is required, we'll go through it, because most of us, you are experienced, and Hisan is also somewhere in something he knows. So we'll see. That's why I'm telling you, if you don't understand some part of it, you let me know. I'll give you the basics of what we are basically trying to do with that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So you see some of the comparison is here. It is useful. So basically Python become much more, started to become of very much use because it has scripting capabilities mostly and used for development purpose, application development purpose much more than R. R was primarily used. I mean, historically, R was developed itself by statisticians for their own mathematical needs. It was not for any scripting or development purpose. So this has become its history in a way. And that is why it is more statistically oriented and not, I mean, people use it to create programmings and, develop applications also, but it is not that friendly as Python is. And you can see here, this is used by, developers, data engineers. So all kind of people can use Python because it gives you that kind of flexibility as far as the programming is concerned. So, and R, as you have seen, we have downloaded it from CRAN, which is basically the official repository of R. And then other developments have been done on GitHubs and other platforms, but CRAN is the official repository of which distributes all the packages and everything of R. So these are some of the visualization tools. We'll see some of them as we go on into the sessions. Yes, and one of the, this has very, very powerful statistical tools. But one thing is, one of the problems of R is it is open source, okay? And now still a lot of developments have happened, a lot of packages have been created, but still it does not have that kind of environment where still, where you can go and, if you have some queries, you'll get support. It's not that friendly still, I mean, I would say. But most of the queries which you have in the initial phases will be answered through the platforms which are available. Second thing is R runs on your RAM, like the session that we are doing. So if you are limited by the capability of your RAM, of your system, then it will become very slow. That is one of the reasons why I did not upload, this data set. If I have to upload this particular data set, as I was trying to tell you, this credit card data set. One thing is I cannot open it in Excel also because it's a 147 MB file. It's very big file. And if I simply try to, let's say that as we have done for other credit card, read.csv. Then it will take some time. It will take some time because it's a very big file, but we'll still do it, right? We'll just see. If you have a heavy RAM, I mean, this system has only 4 GB RAM, so it will take some time. But then if you have, in offices, usually we have good RAMs on our machines. So then now it can take some time. It's not easy. You're seeing it's just rotating, because it's loading a very big data set now, which can take a lot of time. So I'm just putting it for now so that it will run and we'll see what is there in the data set, because I cannot open it in Excel also because that file itself is very big. But once this is loaded, we can do all the functions. Like let's say that if you want to use simple mean function or average function in Excel and try to calculate the average of one particular variable of this particular data set, that will also hang the system itself in Excel. But this will not be the case with R. Once this data set is loaded, all the functions, all the statistical functions can be very easily run through the machine, through the R systems. Now you are saying it is taking time because the data set itself is very big. We'll come to it after some time. It will probably just be imported. Till now, we'll just go ahead with our session. So this is one of the one of the disadvantages of using R, that it is limited by the machine's hardware capabilities. So this is what it is basically. It runs on all the platforms and everything. And you will find the application of R in basically all the companies use R and Python, but mostly now it is Python. But in between time frame when from 2010 to 2015, 16, 18, a lot of people were using R instead of Python. So some of the things as we are seeing, I just gave you the examples through the data frames, but now you are saying that data types is like 4.5 is basically called numerics. 4 is a natural number. If it does not have anything, then it is an integer. We'll come to see the logical part. Logical is like it is a true or false kind of situation. So that is logical value. And whatever is defined by characters, that is called or in this particular parenthesis, that's called character. We have seen some examples of that also in the data set that we had imported, right? Now other data types are also there, which is like vectors, numerical, character, logical. We have seen that vector is something simply, as we are trying to see, right? A mean of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 become a numerical vector. So data frame is essentially a combination of vectors. So if you look at it, it will have like in that case, we had surname as a vector, which was a character vector. We had create a score as a vector, which was basically a numerical vector. So this is what it is. And data frames, we have understood what it is. Data frame is basically, it's a table in simple terms, in layman's terms, but it's basically a combination of vector in R. And list can contain different kind of data frames. We'll see. We'll take the examples of it when we go forward. Okay. So now you are seeing how do we define the variables. Like you can use either this. I was using this thing. If you see like X is this or whatever. I mean, for the data frame, I was trying to use this particular thing. Or you can use equal sign also. So that is also possible to define a variable. Like variable means I was trying to define, let's say, data frame. For that, I was using this. You can use it for variables also. So either you can use equal sign or you can use this particular sign, which is less than and then one hyphen. As you can see in these examples, X is 42, so X is a variable. Or for any data type, like it can be a character data type or data frames, you can use this, or you can use equal also sign. Some of the functions are mentioned in here. We'll be looking at much more larger functions. So this is generally the, if you want to create this more is from the perspective of user-friendly, I mean, user-defined functions. So if you want to create a user-defined function, we'll see some examples if it's needed later on. that will, so basically the start is function and you write a function body as in any other programming language. So this is a general structure. So this is showing you some of the examples of this, right? So basically like mean of 25 to 82. So this thing is, this creates a vector from 25 to, find the mean of numbers from 25 to 82. We'll see that how this works, 25 to 82 once, if this has already loaded, we'll see some of the examples from this. Yeah, so you see now it is basically loaded credit card. So if I just put for an example, dimension of it. Credit card. It's a very big data set. You can see it has, 284,000 records, and that is why it was taking some time, and it's a 31 variables. So if I just take, head will also be become, just I'll take the call names for now, call names of credit card. So these are the variables basically which is available in this time, V1, V2. Many variables are there from this banking industry. They have just hidden this. And so all these variables, the 31 variables are there, and then they'll have some kind of values there. So this becomes a very big data set. And we can walk through it once we have a download. Once we have imported on this, then we can do something about this data set, but definitely it's not possible in any other tool, like any other tool, particularly in Excel. So we'll work through this. But for now, I'll just come to some of the points we're trying to touch. For an example, this mean of 25 to 82. So if I just put 25 to 82, right? So what it does is it has created a vector which is 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 to 82. So if you put simply mean of this, it will give the mean of this number. But then I don't know if the mean is being calculated right or wrong, because we have seen one example where it was not featuring correctly, but whatever. So it is 53.5. This is basically the mean of this number. Now what I can do is I can also store it in some variable. For an example, if I put simply x 25 to, or let's say anything, 3 to 7. So what x contains is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Now I can take the mean of x. And now how do I know what type it is? Type of x. Okay, so class is not, type is not a function. It's basically used in other programming language. Class is a function, and it tells you that it's a, it's an integer vector. It is an integer vector 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an integer vector, and I want to take the mean of it. So mean of x. Sorry. Yeah, so it's coming out to be 5. Now it is actually correct. For this, it is giving out to the correct mean, the Shishir. You see, this is basically 7, 7, 14, 6, 20, 25 by 5, which is 5. So I don't know why it was giving the wrong number for this.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like this, we have many functions. This is just for numeric numbers. We'll see for others also that we have functions.
How we can create this vector with the gap, not continuous numbers, but with the gap, like maybe after the number is after every 2 or 3.
Yeah. So that can be increased. We have functions for that. I'll come to it also. Like what you are saying, that let's say that I want from 3 to 15 increase by 2. So like 3, 5, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll come to that also. So like this, we could have multiple different functions. I'm just trying to give you so that we are not missing out on the slide part. But this does not contain everything. We'll come to it slowly, and we'll be seeing as we move forward, right? So this is how the new functions could be defined, wherein basically in this function, if you simply type this function in your system, you can try it on your own later on. So what it is doing is basically creating the square of the numbers, I square, I to a, whatever a you are passing in this. So this is basically the variable. If you have experience of any other programming language, what we are doing is, let's say I put 5 here. So from 1 to 5, it will give me the squares of all the numbers. This is what this user-defined functions does. So similarly, it is giving us some examples of the functions. We need to basically work through this. Then some of the functions that we can see, like let's say that we have created x. Now I want the length of x. Okay, so length of x, basically what it gives you is length of the vector. How many elements are there in the vector? For an example, what I can do is, let's say simply for the churn data set itself, if I put simply length churn dollar surname. So it has 10,000. Basically, on that also you can put, because that is also churn dollar surname itself becomes a vector. Okay. Similarly, some of the functions we have already seen what class does, what the structure does. I mean, I did not go through this, but I have given you some of the examples directly, right? Class function we have seen, structure function we have seen, length function and row and column and so on and so forth. Many other functions also we have seen, and we'll see many more functions. This is just to give you that how function works, right? So this is like the same data structure. What is array, list, data frames? But mostly we are going to work with data frames. So another one way of creating this vector is simply 3 to 7, or otherwise we can also write something like, let's say that I want to create a new variable, and if I simply put C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this will create a vector. This will simply create a vector of all these elements, right? So this is, so basically if you want to create a vector of, let's say, character, or vector of numerics or integers or whatever, you can simply put C here, and it will C is a function basically, so which creates a vector. So this is what that C function will create a vector. And as you can see, list, as we have, I was talking to, list is more of a heterogeneous. So there are two things. One could be homogeneous vector, wherein you have simple, only one kind of variable. Like all these things are numeric, integer variables. Let's say that you want to create a variable wherein you want a heterogeneous kind of thing. For an example, this contains one numeric number, one character, one vector, one logical vector, other kinds of vectors also. So if you want to create, then we can use list function to create that. Okay, so this list will create that, and we'll see during the examples. I'll keep giving you. That's why I'm not going directly with it. I'm just giving you a gist of what is available in the slides, so that once you read through it, you know what is available in this. So what it is doing here is, we have already seen data frames. Data frames we have imported and seen. But if you want to create your own data frame, what you can do is, like this you can create. You can create a student ID, which is basically a vector of 1 to 5. Then a student name, which is basically some names you can give. A student rank, something you can give. A student data, some other data points you can give for that. And then if you, so what it is doing is essentially, it is creating different vectors and combining that vector to create a data frame. So this is like, if you want to create manually a data frame, this is a way to do it. You create vectors, different vectors, and then you combine all of them. So we have already seen how do we read the CSV file, Excel file. For Excel, we'll see later on. But CSV is the same way. Like read.csv is there for CSV files. We have other packages which we may have to install for Excel. Like Excel SX is different kind of thing. Test we can use simply like that. Different all other. These are just simple flat files, just CSV files, Excel files, text files. What we can do is we can connect R with any other system, as we can do it. Let's say that you have a SQL server, or you have a SAS server, or you have for example Spark server. So for everything, let's say I'll just show you one example here. Something called R PostgreSQL. Okay. So what R PostgreSQL does is, it will connect. So basically on the SQL server, on the PostgreSQL, okay, you have the data. Now you can, so basically this package, our PostgreSQL package is there. So what you can do, I'm just giving you one example, just a hint of here. That you can simply install our PostgreSQL. Okay, simply install our PostgreSQL and you'll basically load it, which you can do either through require or through library. And you can essentially connect this data. I mean, you can connect R through that environment, whatever you have created on the R PostgreSQL, and from there you will just fetch that table. For an example, in this example, is just showing card table as the table which is available on the PostgreSQL, and from there we are fetching it. For right now, what we have seen is just fetching a CSV file which is available on the local machine, but it can fetch files from any of the servers. For that, there are different packages available that we need to use. Is this clear, Shishir? Because you might have seen some other servers, and if you
yeah, this is fine. Thank you.
Yeah, just for the sake of telling you that, so that you have an understanding that you can import tables from any of the servers. It could be PostgreSQL, it could be MySQL, it could be any other server, SAS servers, anything. Read.table basically will simply read the files from there, and simply Excel SX is about reading Excel files. So this is just about installing the package which we already have seen. How we install the package, then basically installing the package in these locations, loading the package, which is basically to separate the library function. Okay, so these are some of the things like how do we subset the methods. We'll go through it. We'll have more packages, and directly also we'll be able to extract some of the things like creating a subset of the data frame, right? We want to create a particular data frame, or we want to increase the data frame, append the data frame or something. So for that we have methods. So this is slightly mentioned here. We'll not go through it in this fashion. We'll go through it in much more, sequential manner. I mean, as we need it in our observation. So this is about it. And just because I just wanted to give you this, because when you start to do it and you will be seeing this slide, so you'll have understanding that we have covered the section. And okay. So till now, do you have any questions? Ishan or sister?
No, it's fine with me.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. So for now, we can keep it till here only. And I mean, as I told you yesterday, that we'll just see if someone else is also joins by the third session. We can quickly take them through all these things in 15-20 minutes, and then we'll move forward. So we'll keep it here for now, and just go through the and I'll also put some of the materials on the elements. Okay, so you can go through them, and meanwhile you have an understanding of how R works, so you can practice something on your own also. And I'll put some some data sets again there. You can import the other data sets. You can look through it. You can try to understand some of the data, what is available in this. So this is what you can do for now over this next week. And we'll go through it in much more detailed way. I just give you the glimpse of how R works, but we'll see like when we get into the data preparation mode, we'll need to follow very sequential, very logical work. So that is what we're going to say in the next session. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay.
And Isan, do you have any questions? Any other questions? Because you also don't have the access to LMS. So if you want to have any questions, or if you have any doubts, you can let me know.
No, thank you.
Okay. Shishir, any questions from
No,
you?
all good. Thank you, Austin.
Okay, so we'll keep it here. And if anyone new joins by then only 15-20 minutes will take them just to understand just to make them understand what we are doing. And then we'll carry forward with all the 3-hour session. And we'll have much depth understanding of our tool by the next session.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll one more thing I'll show you here. So there is this feature on LMS. So basically, I'll just take you through LMS something. Okay, so assignments and everything, materials for students will be available on this. Right now, I'm not giving any assignment because we have not covered. We have just touched upon R. So this, whatever assignments will be there, will be put on this. Then there is this discussion board. So if you have any questions or anything, you can simply put it. You can put a new post here. And if there is something that I need to reply, I'll reply to it. Otherwise, we'll see it in the next session if something more depth is needed in that area. Or if you have any questions, you can write in this new post. And course content is here. So we'll also slightly update the course contents based on the new systems that is happening. But you can see that we start with R and then we go ahead with the data manipulation and other things. So this is how we're going to. So this is what all available in this. And once you are already in the system, we'll mark attendance also from the next class onwards. Till today it's fine. From the next class onwards, we'll be marking attendance and we'll see how to go ahead further with this. Okay. So this is the platform which we are going to, and whatever classes we have already covered, right? So that video recording is also available here. So by the session, like last session, whatever we had done, so this video is here. Similarly, last two, so this was more of an introduction session. And then last session is this. Similarly, for today's session, also the video will be available. So if you have any doubts, you can always refer back to the sessions and clear your doubts. So these features are available on the list. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Anything? Any doubts?
No,
Shishir?
Thank
thank you.
you.
Okay, then I think we can call it a day. And thank you guys for being here.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.